Attention, please. The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, baby, yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah. Good morning.
Yeah,
good afternoon.
baby. Yeah. Wow.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching. Welcome. I'm Mr. Finn, and joining me today is Elina. Do I pronounce that right, Elina?
No, wrong.
I always do it wrong. How do I pronounce your name?
I'm used to it. It's Elina.
Elina. I always want to say
Right.
Elina. Elina.
Anyway, you always call me that, so I'm used to
I know.
it. No problem.
Yeah, I know, but I like to be corrected, and I want to do it. I want to do it right. Elina. That's right?
All right.
I did it wrong again, didn't I?
Just Elina. Yeah.
Just Elina. Well, good. Well, welcome.
All right. Yeah.
Guys, welcome. Okay, so I'm Mr. Finn, and with me is, say your name again. And she froze. Elina. So today we're going to be talking about cultural differences between East and West. I'm an American. Tell us where you're from.
Okay. Hard question. I was born in Baku. Then we moved to Armenia. We lived there for some time, and then we moved to Russia, and now I'm in Russia. Yeah. So by origin, I'm Armenian, but I've been living in Russia, I can say, all my life, and I got Russian citizenship.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're born in Russia, aren't you a natural citizen?
I'm a citizen, but I'm Armenian. I mean, my parents are pure Armenians. All my relatives are Armenians. I'm not Russian, yeah, by nationality. So my nationality is Armenian, but I've been living in Russia all my life, and I'm a citizen of Russia. Okay.
But that's my question. Even if you're born in Russia, don't you naturally become a citizen? Like people like you.
Oh, naturally. No,
yeah, that's
no.
my question.
Okay, got you. No, you gotta apply for it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But if people are born from Russian parents, they're Russian naturally.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I only ask that because in America, if you're born on American soil, you're an American citizen. You know, this is why you see such an influx of immigrants migrating, you know, trying to cross the border into America, especially with their children.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, because they call them anchor babies.
Yeah, I got you. What do you mean?
Because if the baby, here, Hoff is here with us, because if you have a baby in America, the baby is a natural born American citizen. And for people who want to become Americans or who want to live in America, they'll try to have their baby in America. And that's why they call it an anchor baby. So it's easier for them to naturalize. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Look, my baby, one of my children was born here. My baby boy was born here in Russia. Okay. And he got a Russian birth certificate. Yeah.
Because you're a citizen.
Yes, it's because I'm the citizen of Russia. But if I wasn't, then we would have maybe some troubles, and I had to apply and all the paperwork, you know. But since I'm a Russian by citizenship, then my baby automatically becomes also a Russian citizen. He gets the birth certificate, and yeah, and the passport follows later. So.
And your husband, is your husband Russian?
No, he's not. And that's another story. When it comes to papers.
What is your husband? What nationality?
You know, come on, he's from Zambia.
Wow.
My children are colored, yeah, so they're half Armenians because I'm pure Armenian, and they are half Africans because my husband is Zambian. He's from Zambia.
Wow.
Yeah. But both of my kids, they have Russian citizenship. All right.
Do they get Armenian citizenship also
No,
because of you?
because no, because they were not born there, and we didn't even go there.
Do they qualify because of your bloodline?
Um, you meant to be to have double citizenship or just
Yeah,
to change it?
to have dual citizenship.
Dual. I'm not sure about that, but I think so. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, if we apply, then why not? It's possible. Yeah.
That's interesting. My kids have dual citizenship, right?
All right.
They were born here. They were born here in Brazil, but I applied for them to get American citizenship because of me, because I'm a natural born American citizen. My children, no matter where my children are born, they're Americans.
Okay.
Yeah. So now their children, they would have to be born in America to be American citizen because
Interesting. So your
yeah,
kids are Americans because you are
they're both.
American, right?
Yeah, they're both. They're
Both of them, though they were born in Brazil.
Yeah, they're Brazilian because both their mother's Brazilian and they're born in Brazil, so they're natural born Brazilian citizens. And because they're born from me, who's a natural born American, they are American as well. So
But again, they are mixed, right? Like,
yeah, but
how
they're
to say
white.
that? By
They're
origin,
white.
their
Yeah.
origin.
I mean, we're all, if you think about it though, we're all mixed, right?
Yeah, true. I agree.
This is why like what's going on in America right now with this division by races and this
Yeah.
promoting like this push of racism. I really don't like it because we're all the human race, and
Exactly.
we are all people of color. White is a color, yellow, brown, red.
Yeah,
We have
right.
different tones of melatonin in our skin, so we're all mixed. There's no real pure breed anymore, unless you want to think of like the monarchies who keep it in the family, right?
Right.
But yeah, my kids they're half Brazilian, half American.
Yeah, I got you.
Reconnect here. It's saying something. StreamYard has lost access to your Facebook account. Oh well, let that happen later. Anyways, so yeah, so they're both. And the funny thing is, when I applied for their citizenship, I had to bring like a pile of documents to prove that I am who I am and that they are from me.
You mean to the American embassy?
Yeah, I had to. It was funny. It's like my son, I had to bring like a stack this big, and with my daughter, I had to bring like a stack like that big. It was a lot of bureaucracy, but they got an American-born certificate. It's like their certificate says American-born abroad.
Wow, they
Yeah.
do write this in certificates. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
birth certificates differ from country to country.
Of
In some,
course.
they even write the color of the eyes and hair, stuff like that.
I think they did that for my birth certificate. I can't
Really?
remember. I don't remember though. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but yeah, I think they did that for mine.
In the Russian birth certificates, you can, well, it depends. If you want, you can write your husband's or your spouse's nationality. Okay. For example, in my baby's birth certificate, there was a line like where I had to write my husband's nationality or my nationality. For example, I can write he's Zambian, I'm Armenian. But if I want, I can just skip that part.
Leave it blank.
Yeah.
In America, it's getting so crazy nowadays, right? Like this, everyone's so woke, right? That in America now, many places, and I think this goes by state by state, there are many places where they're leaving the sex of the child off.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's because all of this transgender movement, like non-binary, they're allowing these people. Yeah, I know these people who are woke to this. They're not even allowing. They're not even calling like their daughter a daughter. it's their child, and they're allowing their child to choose their gender when they grow up.
When they reach like I don't know, 12 years old, I heard that that's
Yeah.
what's happening in Spain, or they're trying to
The first
discuss
world's
this
falling
topic.
apart, man. The first world's falling apart. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's what's happening. That's what's happening there. So that's interesting. So how many languages do you speak? Obviously, you speak English. Obviously, you speak Russian. I'm going to assume because you're Armenian, you speak Armenian as well.
Right?
From what I know of you, I know that you're interested or you've studied some Spanish, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So
Is that it?
I
Is
can
that it?
say, yeah, I can say 4, but my Spanish is not that fluent. Yeah. So
Not yet.
maybe 3.5, if we can put it that way.
All right. Well, if you get your Spanish down and you work on number 5, then you could call yourself a polyglot.
Really? So is it like starting from 5?
I
Like
believe
as
so.
long as you know 5,
I
you
believe
can call
so.
yourself polyglot. Nice.
I think that's the threshold is 5 languages.
Great.
Well, that's awesome. I speak good English, bad English, and Portuguese.
Why? You don't speak bad English. Come on.
No, when I say bad English, I'm talking about like street level, colloquial, kind of the incorrect, informal English.
Spoken, informal.
Yeah, like ebonics, you know, like they
Yeah.
talk, like they say it, like they speak in the hood.
Yeah.
Like IBI, you know, things like that. But I used to speak Spanish fairly well. I studied it in America.
Really? For how long?
For a couple of years in school. I studied it, and I grew up in Southern California. So Southern California is a very heavily Hispanic populated region. The whole Southwest.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, the whole Southwest is very heavily Hispanic populated. So I studied it, and then I also worked in construction. I worked as an electrician, and there's lots of Hispanics. I can't say Mexican because there's all kinds of Hispanics. I worked there, so I spoke it fairly well. The problem
so you had great practice, right?
I had, right? Gunger saying hello. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Gunn.
We have Hafa here.
Hello, Hafa.
Yeah. The problem is when I came to Brazil, and when I was learning Portuguese, I did what a lot of the Brazilians call. I spoke Portuñol. It's like Portuguese. It's Portuguese and Spanish mixed. Yeah. So I spoke a lot of Portuñol. It was really hard.
Are they not similar? Tell me.
They're very similar.
Maybe just the pronunciation matters.
No,
but
it's not just the pronunciation. The pronunciation is actually quite different. It's actually quite different. How they're similar is in the conjugation of the verbs and stuff.
So grammar.
Yeah, that's how it's similar. But there's differences in obviously vocabulary and pronunciation. It's Latin based, right? It's Latin based. So Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, French. Anyone who speaks those languages, I think, can learn each one of those fairly simply. English, right? It's more like Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, right? Anglo-Saxon. So I think I have a pretty good accent, like a pretty good pronunciation when I speak Portuguese, because I've listened to other gringos speak Portuguese, and I even cringe at their pronunciation. Like, wow.
Really? So I think, but you mentioned that your parents are, I mean, your mother?
Yes, my mom.
Portuguese?
My mom is Portuguese. Yeah.
By origin.
By birth.
By birth.
By birth. She was born in the Azore Islands. Do you know where the Azores are?
No. Where is it? Tell me.
Let me try to. Yeah, let me try. Well, I was gonna take a picture, but they're so small, you can't really see if I zoom it in on a map. Hold on, let me see if I could share my screen here. Let me open up a map, and I could share my screen, and I could show it. Basically, the Azores is like a I can't even say the word in English. Apelago.
What language is that?
That's
Chinese?
English. No, it's when you have a chain, island chain, Apelago. I think the word is,
But it doesn't sound English at all.
but it is. It is English. Hold on, let me see if I can share
Okay.
my. Let me see if I can share my screen. Share my screen. Okay. I want to share here, right here. Share. All right. Are you seeing this?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
all right. So the Azores, like, see, here's where I live here. I live in this
Okay, yeah.
corner of Brazil.
Mhm.
You live, if I'm not mistaken, like right in this corner here
Yes,
of Russia,
yes,
right?
right,
So
right, yeah.
you're in the very western part of Russia.
Very far from you.
Yeah, very far. I'm right here. But if you go north from where I'm at, like right says where it says North Atlantic Ocean,
I can see it.
this is where the Azores are, right about here. Oh, it's right here. See, it's right here.
It looks like in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. It's right here. See, it's right here.
Oh my goodness.
So you have 9 islands here. You have 9
Yeah.
islands. And my mom was born on this island here.
So she was born there and she lived all her
here.
life there?
No,
I mean,
not all her life. She came to America at the age of 9 years old. But she was born in this little town, this city here, Angra do Rorissimo.
wow.
Yeah, I've been to this
All the
island
difficult
twice.
words.
Yeah, I've been to this island twice. It's very beautiful, very green.
I don't doubt that.
So that's where my mom is from. And
Oh,
yeah, that's where my mom's from. And so I think that may have helped me when it came to learning Portuguese, because
yeah.
I grew up hearing it, even though the Portuguese speak is different than the Brazilians, as far as the British English is different than American English, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's both English, but like you can hear the accent. Like when you speak English, it's a little bit more British leaning.
Really?
A little bit.
I was
Don't
thinking it's more of American, no?
A little bit. No, because your accent, because you don't have a Russian accent when you speak English. You don't have an Armenian accent. The
So
accent I
what
pick up,
accent is that I have?
European, British, a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. It's not heavy at all. But what I'm saying is, though, the Portuguese like my family spoke is a lot different than the Portuguese that they speak here in Brazil. And the funny thing is, the Portuguese that I speak is from here. Like, you pick up the mannerisms, you pick up the lingo, you pick up the the slang, the pronunciation. So like when I speak Portuguese with my family in America, they laugh. Oh, you're so Brazilian. I'm like, well, what do you expect?
But they understand you, right?
Yeah, they do. But the funny thing is, my Portuguese is far better than my mom's Portuguese nowadays.
Is that so?
Well,
Why?
because
Has she forgotten it, or
she's been living in America for
like she has forgotten it because of lack of practice, right?
60 years, and she married an American. So growing
Okay,
up,
that's all.
so her growing up, going to school in America, dating, marrying American,
Yeah.
she didn't lose it 100% because interacting with her parents, right? My grandparents.
Yeah.
But unlike her brother and sister, right? My aunt and my uncle, my aunt married a Brazilian, so they always kept Portuguese, and my uncle married a Portuguese woman. So my
And your
cousin,
grandparents, like your mom's parents, where were they born?
they were born on that island, Terceira.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Born and raised, yeah. Very small island, yeah.
Okay.
And they spoke broken English. So they would understand English, and they would kind of answer, like me and my brothers and I, they would answer us in like broken English. It was funny. Yeah. And you know what? That's probably why I have this fascination with cultures and stuff. And I've always, even as a kid, I always wanted to learn Portuguese. I always had a fascination, even with Brazil, never knowing. Maybe it was like, the Holy Spirit put it in my heart. You're going to be in Brazil one day. It's fascinating though, So talking about Russia and the Russian culture and the Armenian culture, I know where you're from in Armenia. It's not that far from where you live in Russia.
Yeah.
Geographically speaking, it's not that
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, we're neighbors, I can say.
Is there a big difference in the languages?
Of course, totally different. I
Totally
mean,
different.
yeah. Armenian people have their own alphabet.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
Is it
completely different.
is it close to like the Arabs, like Arabian?
Armenian? No, no, no. It's just, I don't know, unique, I can say.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Armenian language is one of the languages that Christ would spoke in the biblical times.
Wasn't it Aramaic?
Maybe it
No?
was. Maybe it was.
Aramaic, yeah, not Armenian, Aramaic. Yeah.
What
But
is it?
Armenia is an ancient country, you know that, right?
Oh, it is.
And
Yeah.
Armenia was the first one to adopt Christianity, yeah, to make it official religion in the 3rd century.
The interesting thing about Armenia and talking about like history and theology, I've seen like special reports where historians, biblical historians, they trace back to like the ark, Noah's Ark, landed there
Yeah,
in Armenia.
yeah, it's true. I
There's a
haven't seen it, but it's there.
well, one of the
Yeah, they
reasons.
say it's landed there.
Yeah, one of the reasons, right? There's a very tall mountain there, and on the foothills of that mountain in Armenia, you have the oldest vineyard in the world,
Yeah,
and that was one of the first things that Noah planted when he got off the ark. Was he planted a
yeah,
vineyard, right? He planted a vineyard.
yeah, yeah,
And that's just fascinating.
yeah.
And
Cool.
if you look back, because this stuff always fascinates me. History fascinates me. Cultures fascinate me. Languages fascinate me. I love history and things like this. And if you look back throughout humanity, it all comes from that corner of the world. Like,
Yeah,
the Epic of Gilgamesh and the first civilizations all started in that region.
yeah,
Babylon
yeah,
was there in Iraq.
yeah. And the Garden of Eden, I don't know, the Bible says, yeah, mentions something.
Well, I don't know
Like,
exactly what that is, but it does talk about the Euphrates and the Tigris River.
yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah,
So
somewhere in the east.
yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Now, Russia's a huge country. How much of Russia do you know? Like how much of the country have you been to?
Oh, not many. Yeah, I've been to Moscow, the capital, to St. Petersburg, the second capital of Russia, I can say,
Those are the
and a
tourist
couple of
spots.
other smaller towns in Russia. Yeah, I visited.
Yeah, that's something else, man. I would like to go. I would like to go there one day. St. Petersburg. I'd like to see it.
Welcome.
Yeah, I would like to see it. I'd like to see because I'd like to see the architecture. It's very unique to Russia. You look at it, it's Russian. You got those
Yes,
domes, those kinds
yeah,
of those spiky
the
domes.
ancient ones.
Yeah.
Especially in St. Petersburg, it's just gorgeous architecture there. You can see a lot of interesting buildings there, but even in smaller towns also.
There are a lot of small towns in Russia, right?
Yeah.
Lots of villages, lots of
Villages, yes. Villages is like saying like separate story in Russia. I mean,
awesome.
villages different. They are different in different cultures and countries, right? How about the USA? Are there any villages,
No.
like real villages there?
No,
I've never
no.
heard of.
Not really. You have small communities, you have small towns, and then you have big cities, basically.
But not really. The villages are
No.
not there, right?
No. They
Maybe
don't
something like countryside. How are they called?
but even in the countryside, you have a small town. You have a town,
Okay.
and then you have the town, and then outside the town, you'll have like plantations or farmland and stuff. But we
Yeah,
don't really
something
have.
like
but we don't really have villages like you do in Europe and in Asia and stuff. It's not the same.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And
it's
how
not
about
the same.
Brazil?
Brazil, I think it's kind of the same way. You don't really have villages. You have the cities and you have small little towns here in Brazil. Uh, Brazil, Brazil's a big country too. It's a very big country. Um, but you have like the it's like in a way it's like America where you have like the country folk and you have
Okay.
the city folk. You have the
Yeah.
people say in the interior who
Yeah.
act different, talk different, and then the city people. But villages, I don't think there are many villages either. Just towns, little
Life in
towns.
villages usually is different from life in cities. People are different, their mentality. For example, in villages, they lead more like quiet life.
And they look out for
Uh,
each other, in my opinion.
yeah. And they're more friendly, more
Hmm.
hospitable.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think everybody's the same.
I tell you what, I'm from a big city. I'm from the second largest city in America, and I find I'm more I feel like more comfortable in a village or in a small town. Yeah, I
That's
don't like.
your more like
Yeah,
personality. That's your
I
inner
don't.
being. Yeah, that's how you feel.
I'm not big. I'm not big on big cities, city life. I like nature. I like camping. I I moved to this house here because I'm in this kind of transition, trying to move back to the States. And last year was a hard year for my kids, right? Because my son couldn't go to school, and we lived in an apartment building, and they couldn't uh, they couldn't even play in the playground and everything, and it was bad. And the apartment was like just this big, a little apartment. So at the beginning of this year, I told my wife, I say, we're gonna move into a house. I'm gonna rent a house for us and try to sell our apartment. And that was probably the best decision I made because now we have space and the kids run
You're in
around.
your house right now, not so. I can see
Yeah,
the different background over there. I can see Mr. Finn with beard
yeah,
just
that's
behind
that's
you.
that's the original. That's the original character for English with Mr. Finn. But yeah, I'm in a house now, so I have a backyard for the kids to play in. They have space and stuff. It was the best thing because in
Yeah, that's
apartments.
great.
And what's interesting here in Brazil, apartment life is what most people strive for, especially living in a city. They want to live in an apartment.
Really.
Why do you think?
Why do you want to live in an apartment?
Why do you think people want to live in an apartment, especially people living in a city? Why do they want to live in an apartment?
No idea. Tell me.
Security.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, here there's quite a bit of crime in Brazil, all over the place.
Okay, I understand.
So people like to live in apartments because in apartments you have doormen, you have perimeter security, so you're
Are there
safe.
any like security guards there?
Well, you have a doorman. No, you have a
Okay.
doorman, and that permits entry with anyone who wants to come in.
Mhm.
Gun wants to know if Portuguese is spoken in Brazil. Yes, only Portuguese, unless people like Elina and other people speak other languages. Only Portuguese. That's the national language. Now, on the border cities, like with bordering with Uruguay and Argentina and stuff, you have a mix. You have this Portuñol, but Portuguese is the
Portuñol. Is it
yeah.
an official language like?
No,
I've never heard of
no,
this.
no. But
Portuñol.
it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid
Yeah, I
of the
got
two
it.
languages. Yeah. But anyway, so like I said, so people here they live in apartments by choice if they can, you know. Houses here are a lot different than in America. Like my family, my brothers and people, they think it's funny because here houses are like a compound. Do you know what I
How
mean?
compound? How?
Well, it's like walled up. Like the property is
All right.
walled with tall walls and either barbed wire on top or electric
It's
or
okay. It reminds me of houses in Zambia. I mean, whatever you're saying, I just imagine that they also have same setup. Yeah, the
yeah.
wires they are more like security again
Yeah.
to
My
prevent from. Burglars.
My friend Werton, he came in here to help us out. This guy, he's likes culture too. He's traveled all around the place. He's really good with English too. This is an
Okay.
old friend of mine, Werton. Yeah, but that's how it is here. So the houses, you have very tall walls with either spikes, like iron spikes on the top of the wall, or glass. People put
Now tell me, glass, broken bottles, right?
broken bottles on top.
I've seen that a lot.
That's how it is in my home here. Half of it's
Does it work? Or they still manage to burgle?
People, let me tell you something. Brazilians are some of the most creative people.
Okay, so they do manage.
They're some of the most creative and ingenuitive people I've ever met in my life. If they only had a moral compass, man, I swear Brazil could be a superpower. Brazil, I'm telling you, man, Brazil, there's a joke here in Brazil where God was showing his creation to some of the angels, so he's showing the world, and he's showing like, okay, over here in the east, right, and in Russia, you got heavy snowstorms and negative temperatures. Okay, in America, on the East Coast, you have hurricanes. In the middle, you have tornadoes. On the West Coast, you have earthquakes and forest fires. And then the angel says, but Brazil, you made Brazil perfect. He's like, and God's like, oh, but wait till you see the people I put there. And I'm not trying to make fun of it. That's an actual joke here in Brazil that people say. And it's true, because Brazil's rich. I mean, we have the Amazon. It's the largest rainforest in the world. We have the Amazon River. It's the largest river in the world as far as water mass. We have like minerals and jewels and gold and everything here. And there's no natural disasters. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have, we have, sometimes there's flooding when there's rain, but that comes with poor infrastructure. So the problem is just the people. If the people had a good sense of
the management of the resources that they were given. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and this comes to the history. And what's interesting is, like, when you talk about history and culture, America in like the North American like the Americas, they were colonized by Europeans.
Yeah.
Right? You have the French, the Spanish, and the Portuguese, and the English. And where they established is kind of how things got their start. And Brazil got established by the Portuguese, and it was kind of like Australia, because Australia is where England sent their criminals. It was like a prison state. I don't know if you know that, but the way it started was like a prison state. So Brazil was kind of like that. They would send like the people that they didn't like in Portugal, like, go. And then the monarchy fled here when Portugal was being invaded by the Moors. So from the very beginning, the country got started with like corruption and stuff.
Oh, corruption is everywhere.
Yeah, but here it's like ingrained in the people. Like, even when people complain about it, they say, "Oh, it's the Brazilian way." Oh, they say it in Portuguese. É jeito brasileiro, jeitinho brasileiro. It's the Brazilian way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like mentality. Okay.
So tell me. Okay, back to Russia. What is the food like? So for me, for example, and the reason why I asked this is because when I travel to a new place, one of the things that I love to experience.
Yeah, it's food, right? I know.
Yeah,
you're a gourmand and you like trying all the foods. Yeah.
I'm a big fatty.
Well, in Russia, there is nothing like staple food. Like people say, okay, what is staple food? For China, rice. I don't know. For Brazil, what is it?
Beans and rice.
Yeah, like, does it mean that you guys can eat it like
every day?
Even maybe twice a day, every day, right?
People here in Brazil, okay, obviously there's exceptions to the rule, but Brazilians will eat beans and rice every single day.
Seriously.
So
that's what is called staple food, right?
And people like Brazilians, they're so stuck on their food. They complain about the food everywhere else they travel to. Like they don't like
They
American
say,
food.
why do people eat this but not beans and
Beans and
rice?
rice. Yeah.
I know that
They
mentality.
love their beans and rice, man.
There was an old Zambian couple who traveled to the USA. And when they came back to Zambia, they were telling us about the experience, and they complained about food in the USA. Like, we
Yeah.
couldn't find our food there. How can those people live without this kind of food?
Yeah, yeah, it happens a lot. You know what's funny? I'm not a big city person, but one of the advantages of being in a city is the variety. You can't find. I'm sure if you looked, you can find Zambian food in a city, in a big city.
Yeah, yeah.
But and you can find Brazilian food in a big city, but it's not like you see another big difference. And I want to get back to what like a Russian and staple foods in Russia, but like another big difference. And I'm actually going to write about this in one of my papers that I'm writing about the differences in America and Brazil. Brazilians' main meal of the day is lunch.
Okay. Yeah, main, you mean they eat a lot?
It's the main meal. It's the biggest meal, and Brazilians have to have lunch. Like they don't skip lunch. They can
At
skip
what time do they have their lunch? Tell me.
midday.
Like 12?
Yeah. 12:30. It's like union. Like I don't know, I don't think you know what I'm talking about. Americans will know what I'm talking about when I say union workers. Union workers are workers in America who work by the clock. Oh, it's break time because the clock struck this time. Oh, it's time to stop. Oh, it's time to eat.
Yeah.
And that's how Brazilians are when it comes to like lunchtime. It's time to have lunch.
So they stop whatever they're doing and they have lunch.
Yeah, or they work their day into like, okay, it's lunchtime.
Got you.
Yeah, and it's a big lunch. It's a big
in
lunch.
Russia there is nothing like staple food, as I said. People eat different, variety of food. Like, okay, I don't know why foreigners who travel to Russia,
vodka the staple food.
They mention vodka and potatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know why. No,
well,
but
because
it doesn't mean that
potatoes
Russians eat potatoes every day. We don't. We don't.
But you know what's funny? As an American, I was thinking the same thing because vodka is made from
Why?
potatoes.
Explain to me why.
Because vodka is made from potatoes and vodka's prevalent.
Is that why? Well, people make vodka from different stuff.
Really? I thought it was only potatoes.
My neighbors make vodka from pears.
Really?
Others, yeah. They have pear trees, like a lot in their garden, and that's what they do.
And they distill.
They do.
They
At
distill
home,
their
you
own
know what
vodka.
I mean? Homemade vodka.
That's incredible.
And it comes out delicious, as they say, because I don't drink vodka and anything strong.
Yeah, I'm not a big alcohol. Like I like beer and wine. I like beer and wine. I won't lie. I do enjoy beer and wine once in a while. I got to be careful because when I drink beer, but I'm fat already, so I'm trying to fix that. Yeah, beer. The problem with beer is all the calories. But here in Brazil, the big drink here, like every country has like their drink too, right? Like America has whiskey, just like England and Scotland has brandy or Scottish, right? Scotch. And vodka in Russia.
Yeah.
Mexico has
tequila,
right? And Brazil has cachaça.
What is cachaça? Something like vodka?
Yeah, something like vodka. It's distilled liquor from sugarcane.
So is it like very strong?
Oh yeah.
That means I can't even smell it.
Yeah, it's very strong and people love it here. I think one of the times I drank cachaça, it was the only time I ever woke up as drunk as I was when I went to sleep. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. In America, though, too, we do have a drink in America that is purely American because whiskey is American. Like you see the cowboys and stuff drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
But because whiskey was brought over from England, Scotland, But in America, we have a drink called moonshine.
Moonshine. What is it?
It's like vodka. It's like what Gunn says here. Potatoes and vodka are being consumed in Russia. So isn't it right?
Oh, Mr. Gunn is saying that potatoes and vodka are being consumed. Well, yes, they are being consumed, but not like daily. Yeah, it depends. on the family. It doesn't mean that Russians eat potatoes every day, like
You know,
every single day.
but
No.
there is a culture that are known for eating potatoes all the time, but because in the past they had a famine. Do you know what culture that is?
No.
Think green. The Irish. The Irish.
Oh, the Irish.
Yeah.
So because of the hunger,
they had a famine, and they would eat potatoes a lot. So when the Irish immigrated to America, they were made fun of, called potato eaters. The potato eaters. Yeah. Gunn wants to ask us something. The massive difference between Russia and English and Portuguese. When you say Russian and English,
languages, I don't know. Does he mean languages?
That's my question. That's my question. Does he mean languages? Because English is the people in England, or the language? I can't talk about the English people. I could talk about the language, but not the people. So I don't know. You'd have to clarify that a little bit.
Clarify, Mr. Gunn. Do you mean languages, or you mean maybe culture, people? Yeah, our traditions.
You have a little dog?
It's not mine. It's behind the window, neighbors. And there are many. And that's what happens during my classes. Can you imagine?
I can imagine. I had to shut my door because I bought myself a birthday present, a canary. And my canary, he loves the attention. So he sings a lot to call my attention. So I had to close the door so he wouldn't see me and sing so much.
And I work for an online school as well. So, okay, when I have my private students, it's fine. I can relax. They can listen and enjoy the dogs barking and my kids and whatever. But when I have students from the online school, those classes have been recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like what we're doing right now. Yeah. Everything is recorded. Every single class is recorded, all the noise, everything.
Let me ask you something. Getting into now your profession, and this is something I also wanted to talk to you about. Oh, before we do, Gunn does clarify. He talks about language and people.
Oh, so both.
Well, between America and Brazil, total difference. There's no similarity between the language nor the people.
I think same goes with Russians and Americans.
The only thing that is similar is like the commercial stuff, like McDonald's or Coca-Cola or things like that. But other than that, mannerisms are different. Interacting with people is different. Brazil, I'll give you a good example. Americans like their personal space. Like if I could stick my arm out and go into like a circumference, that's like my space. And we like our personal space. That's why when we interact with other people, we stick our hand out to shake hands. Whereas in Brazil, people are very touchy, huggy,
Hugging and kissing in both cheeks, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of slowed down a little bit, but it still happens. But ever since coronavirus, it's like hard for Brazilians.
We started having same rules all over the world with this COVID.
It's kind of hard for Brazilians because Brazilians like to hug each other. So now they're resorting to fist bumps and elbow bumps, So between America and Brazil, total difference. There's nothing the same.
Yeah, I think same goes with Russians and Americans, for example. Yeah, different mentality, totally different mentality.
Yeah, man. There's so many things I want to talk to you about, and our time is going away because we
can have some some 10 more minutes. Is it enough?
Yeah, so that's enough. So let me try to get a few things off my chest first. Like I want to know there's two things that I want to pick your brain about. So people in the chat, just leave your questions in the chat, and if Elena wants to answer, she'll answer. I want to talk to her for a second. So as a teacher, where, why, and how did you learn the English language?
Well, it started long ago when my mom started taking me to some English courses when I was 4 years old.
Good for her.
So I was going to some sort of English speaking club, for kids.
Good for her.
That's where it all started from. Then I interacted a lot with Americans. in Russia. When I was in Russia, I went to a teacher's training university. I always wanted to become a teacher of English and translator. So
Interesting.
I graduated from teaching training university, and then I graduated from the Institute of Foreign Languages, where I got my other education as a translator.
Interesting. So
Yeah, and
you're an official translator.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
I
That's
got
awesome.
degrees in that also. I worked as an interpreter as a translator in some companies here in Russia,
Nice.
and as a teacher. Yeah, at
Now
the
tell
same
me,
time.
have you always worked for an online school, or were you thrusted into it
No,
because of the
no,
pandemic?
no, not because of the pandemic. I started long before the pandemic, so it's
Okay.
I think it's my third year working online.
How is it? How is it working for an online school? Because the pandemic thrusted me into moving online. Because in 2019, like uh, up to 2019, I always worked for schools. 2016, I gave private classes here and there. In 2019, I made the decision to step out on my own and give private classes because I wanted to be more flexible. I wanted to have my own independence.
Yeah,
I got
that's it.
tired of bureaucracies from schools, so I
Yeah,
took I
yeah,
took a big risk. I took a big risk
yeah,
and going online or going on my own. It
yeah,
paid off. It paid off. Things worked really well for me. And then the pandemic hit, and then I lost nearly all my students. I lost all of my private students except for two. And that was really hard because I'm the sole like breadwinner for my family. My wife doesn't work outside the house. I have two kids. I have to, everything's on my shoulders. One of the things about both me as a Christian and my experience of always being a hard worker, I never sweated it. Like I just doubled down and I worked hard and I looked for some material. I created my own
yeah.
online material and I marketed myself. And to my advantage of being fortunate, I have a good name here in the city where I live. Like I'm a fairly well-known English teacher. So
Mhm.
word spread and I ended up picking up students and I've done really well. I've been thinking about maybe joining an online school. So how is that? Is it fun? Is it nice? Is there a lot of
It dep
bureaucracy?
no bureaucracy there, but it depends on what you really want. Okay, if we talk about money, then I don't recommend that because they just pay peanuts. All
Yeah.
right, that's the fact. Yeah. If you want to, I don't know, gain some experience in that, or maybe you
No, I
want
got
to
experience.
access to some materials, interesting materials, or maybe you want some other stuff. Yeah, you can look at this option. But again, online schools also, they differ, at some they pay more, others they pay less, then conditions are different. And some they just give you a schedule, give your students. Others you are more flexible, you can decide and put your price. And others the school does for you. So it depends on what you really want. Yeah.
I might look into that. The reason why I ask is because I'm trying really hard to just make make a living totally online. And because when we do move to America, like my wife and I have a dream. Instead of like before we buy a house, we want to buy a truck and like a motorhome like trailer. And we want
This
to
is so American, right?
it is. And
That's what we watch in the movies.
it is. And America, there's so much natural beauty there and so much open road. And it's you have this convenience of being able to do that, And I want to do that for a while just so we could experience what the country has to offer. And then we could try to see like what place suits us better. Does that make sense? Because America is in this crossroads right
Yeah, it
now.
does. So you
But
want to do that, right?
yeah, I do. But I could only
Yeah.
do that if I could make my living online, you know, if I can make a living
But again,
online.
you need to take risks. You
Oh,
need to
risks are
take
part of
risks.
life.
Once you decide something, you can't know for sure how it will go until you
I know.
start doing it. So if you start doing something, yeah, you just start and then you see how it goes. Because if you just sit and think, will it work?
No,
or
I don't
not?
do that. No. But come on though. I don't do that. Like people
Yeah.
who know me know, like Mr. Finn, when I say something, I do something. And my wife is the same way. We are risk takers. I've always taken risks.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do try to protect myself as best I can. You know what I mean? Because I got people who
Yeah,
depend
that's
on
why
me.
you need to have several options on your plate, right?
Yeah,
Like you don't give up on something that you already have, but you start
never do.
another thing at the same
Yeah.
time. If it doesn't work, then you know.
Like even when I move back, when I move back, I'm gonna keep the students that I have because, like I said, 2020, it wasn't a bad year for the Finn family, like it was for a lot of people. It forced me to adapt and work online, and I got my feet wet working online, so I'm more prepared when I make the move to America. So I'm okay, and I plan on maintaining it because I really want to continue doing this because I like to have that flexibility, and my wife and I really want to just travel the country and spend some months doing that until we find a place that fits us. Okay.
Yeah.
One quick thing, because I know you got to get going. You got a class to go. I'm just really curious on. And I know, and this is nothing very political, but I just want to know, what is it like in Russia? Because in America, they keep trying to push this Russia interferes with our election, and Russia this and Russia that.
The same happens in Russia. I believe that they say the same things about America. Not so. It's a forever thing.
You know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? It's China. I'm telling you, it's got to be. It's China. It's China pitting one against the other. It's like a magician.
One never knows. Yeah.
Well, you know what a magician does? That's a sleight of hand. It's drawing your attention here while I'm doing something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I know.
That's how I see it.
But I think that you can never know. You can never know everything when it comes to politics. It's so complicated. Yeah, you try to maybe guess, but you can never know the truth.
It's a circus.
It is.
It's a circus. It's a circus. Okay, so I know you got to get going.
Unfortunately.
I know. That's okay. But how can people find you? If people want to know more about you, if people want to follow you, how can people find you?
Maybe just Instagram page. Yeah, I got Instagram page. Yeah, this one. Exactly. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. And you and I know each other from a WhatsApp group, right?
Right.
In English. If anybody who's interested in joining, they can contact you here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right,
just
cool.
DM and I will add you.
Well, you will vet them first.
I will.
We'll vet them first. All right, good. So, guys, I want to encourage you follow Elena. She's a really amazing teacher. She's always doing interesting stuff. Her and I are the tongue twister king and queen.
We are.
We kick butt on tongue twisters. If you guys don't know already, follow me on Instagram as well. You could also get in contact with me. I use Instagram to interact more on a personal level. YouTube, I try to create good content that will help you with your English. I try to come live, bring in interesting people to talk to so you can know different things about different places in the world and to make your English better. Whereas Instagram, helping you with English and being more engaging more on a personal level. So I want to thank you very much. Elena, stick around for a second, but I want to thank you very much for spending your Sunday with me. And I want to tell the audience, thank you for being there.
Thank you also, Michael.
Like, share, subscribe. Go and send some love to Elina. I'm Mr. Finn, and I'll catch you later. Boom! Yeah, baby, yeah.